guys, welcome back to our channel. We have a topic today of interest. It is a controversial topic, if you will. What are we talking about today, Christina?
Gen AI, not to be confused with AI, generative AI.
Today we'll be talking about generative AI and maybe the do's and don'ts. I don't know. I mean, you have free will, but things are happening in the industry and and what's going around.
So just hang on. We'll be right back.
I'm Killian, and I'm a developmental editor and have over 15 titles published.
And I'm CJ, author, artist, and I eat, sleep, and breathe storytelling. We're critique partners, and we're here to explore and discover the art of story.
From beginning to end,
from inspiration
to hitting publish.
What's your take? There's a lot of controversy going around with this generative AI.
So I think first let's define it because we are not here to be like AI, in its entire form is bad to use or it's evil.
You're not Luddites.
CJ and I are very much for progress. And I use AI as in I have this AI bot executive assistant where I tell, her name's Eva, and I tell Eva, hey, I have an appointment on Wednesday. Remind me. So, AI has its place. And I do believe that we can use it for productivity. But when it comes to generative AI, that is, I think, where we draw the line as creators, because generative AI is not creating. It is taking from what's already out there and regenerating it to do whatever you ask.
And it's dumb as forks. It's not smart. You know what I mean? It's like it has a certain, especially like ChatGPT. I mean, I'm sure there's other ones, whatever, but don't get me wrong. I call my ChatGPT Fred. I ask him, hey, is this toxic for my dog? And then I double check that on Google. But you can't escape AI, because now even when you're Googling something, the first impression that's getting into your mind is the
AI overview, right? Is that what it's called? AI overview.
So we're being AI-vatized. It's a change that's happening, but
it's become the new search engine.
Yeah. But this idea of it's the generative AI that is, and it's just not, your app is not you're not sitting there working with, like Elon Musk's, the level of AI that they're using. We have whatever it is, a free app or a $20 a month app. It's not going to be the best of the best. So the things that are being generated on it suck.
Yeah.
They're just not good.
Yeah. So
see, that's where the controversy comes in when I start telling people they suck.
Well, there is the facet of it sucks, and we can go into why it sucks. But there's also the facet of let's say that it doesn't suck, or you're okay with whatever it does produce. What does that mean?
It means you have really poor standards. So you should start there. Learn what a standard is. Learn what a good book should sound like, because if you think that output is good, then you might want to work on that. Maybe you want to read. Reading is good. It's fundamental.
Well, that definitely goes down to the very beginning of writing 101, and the questions that we get or used to get before AI as well is, where do I start? And the answer to that has always been start by reading a lot of books in your genre.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people now, they see these 6-figure authors and 7-figure authors, and they think, oh, this is going to be a fast cash grab now with AI.
People that don't even read, you don't even read, you're not even a part of, you don't even, who are you? Where are you coming? You just saw an ad that you're scrolling by and you're like, oh, you can make fast money on Amazon by generating a book and putting it up for sale. And it's and
it's actually not true.
People that have done it, not author friends, honestly, people that weren't authors that were just oh, I wrote a book.
Yeah, no, I've gotten messages from people saying oh, look what AI can do now. And it's But you don't even know who you're talking to.
As a reader, honestly, as an author, I don't, it's annoying, like, because now it's like a pain in the petunia. You know what I mean? Because marketing and whatever, that's all its own craft, and it's a pain in the petunia. But as a reader, this is where I get really like, I don't want to read this junk. I don't want to put this in my mind. Like I just don't, it's like a GMO in my brain. Get it out.
Hey guys, if you want to check out some fantasy novels written by the Critique Partners, check out our author links below. If you're interested in developmental editing or other author services like book trailers, check out the Grimm House Pub link. And if you'd rather just hire a ghostwriter and outsource it all, then check out Legacy Publishing.
Moving away from the opinions on it, though, of whether you like it or not, let's talk a little bit about what it's truly meaning and actually doing to humans as a whole. Because what I see are people now depending on it to basically generate everything for them. And
like outsourcing our actual thinking.
Particularly for writers, but exactly. So instead of sitting down and brainstorming your own ideas in your own book, you're giving it to what you think is higher knowledge. And let's go down to higher knowledge that is being generated from all of the artists that came before you.
This is probably something, because I will say that most authors that actually have a passion for reading, a passion for writing, I know not all authors read, I understand that, but people that have a passion for just story in general, a lot of them are not just generating and letting AI write their books. But the slippery slope that it is, I now see in the conversation, a lot of people are saying, well, I use it for brainstorming. And I think that maybe is a good topic to discuss, you know what I mean? Because it's like, it seems harmless and there's going to be varying opinions on this, and we're going to have our opinions, but you know, it does seem harmless, but I am on the side of like, we got a very slippery slope because there's a level of discomfort that we need to experience as artists in the middle. And it comes with the territory that so that we can develop, first of all, the skill to get through those hard times, those blocks that we have to problem solve, you know, and also the reward that's kind of at the end of that when we do, and we get better at what we do because we climbed the steep part of the mountain when we really wanted to jump off to our flaming deaths.
Right.
What do you think
and
about
now they're just outsourcing that to generative AI.
No.
And you know, I've played around with it, I've tested it, and I don't like any of its ideas.
Very and I have, just to play devil's advocate, because I'm really like, I insult my AI. I let him know, like, yeah, I don't like whatever you say. It's just it's been done. What are you doing? You're regurgitating.
And that's the thing. It has been done. And the algorithm that it's been fed, and just to give you an example of what I mean, is it has been given specific instructions, which is why you see ad after ad after ad that just uses Gen AI, and it sounds like no fluff, period, just dot, dot, dot. Yeah. And then every few lines, it continues on that cadence.
Everything sounds like ad to me. Like that's kind of the earmark. It's like, and don't get me wrong, it's copying from people. And that's a whole next issue we'll talk about, is like, you know, it's copying.
It's copying from people, but it's given a very specific instruction. And actually, this circles back to all of the authors, myself included, that had books taken from, was it Meta AI, in order to train the AI. And yeah, it has taken some staccato style dialogue that makes it seem suspenseful and brings you on to the next page.
But doesn't that feel like ad copy to you? Like
it does. It feels like ad copy, and it's using the same thing for ad copy as it uses for novel writing, because it's being fed this idea that this is how humans want you to sound.
Yeah.
And it's the most engaging. And it fooled us in the very beginning. and then you would see the same cadence repeated and repeated and repeated, and now we can it just sticks out like a sore
Well,
thumb.
I think what's happening now is I'm pretty sure it's cannibalizing itself. Like it's training on what's out there, and now what's out there is becoming more and more saturated with AI. So it is
With
now
AI.
cannibalizing itself.
Oh,
Defects are getting
right.
amplified
That's
because it's
true.
cannibalizing itself.
That's probably what it is. So no
It's
matter how many
producing
times
shit way faster than we can, you know?
So no matter how many times you tell it, don't do this, don't, no more M dashes, or whatnot, and it's still going to use them because, first of all, it doesn't have a huge memory. And second of all, you are fighting what it was programmed to do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't just take your guidelines as core instructions. Their core instructions bypass your new guidelines. And it's always going to be like that unless you can break into the code,
Yeah. That's true.
which you can't.
But there's gonna be people that say, well, your prompts aren't good enough, or like you just don't know how to prompt. And that's why I really like I want to hear your opinion on like what do you because you're doing this for a minute, like a hot flaming minute. You know what I'm saying? And what is your take on like how it is stealing from the artist, because that's what an author is. How is it stealing from the artist?
Mm.
Growth of like, okay, so I'm just going to bounce. So like when me and you bounce things off of each other, like, for ideas in our books, like how is that different than if I'm bouncing it off of AI? You know what I mean? Like,
Right. So that's a fair point. So it's not really, so the AI, it doesn't have its own brain, right? It's kind of generating what's already been before us, and it can offer us a lot of ideas. And, and I'm not like strictly against writers using it to brainstorm either. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Mhm.
When it comes to brainstorming, at least, not generating the damn fucking book for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm a little stronger against that because I feel like that's where the slippery slope starts. So like, see, we can
Yeah,
actually
no, I
nuance
get you
on
because
this.
we're ruining our cognitive thinking as a society when we
Yes.
start outsourcing the
Problem
thoughts
solving.
for us. It's like problem solve this for me,
All these
and it's
problems.
not something like it's not freaking, doing your taxes. It's literally doing something that should have been either an outlet or a creative business for you, and you can do it yourself. You know how to use your brain, you've done it in the past, and now you're like, oh, I can save this much time by taking this creativity from my Gen AI. And it's not creating, it's generating, and it's mimicking their voices. So you were asking, it's stealing, it's not regurgitating things that were already written unless you are specifically asking for it to give you just Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, if you want,
Yeah.
just
I mean,
basic,
it's kind of like it's a large language model. So it's gonna in a lot of ways just draw from the well of the things that are out there and just kind of like Frankenstein them together, you know, in an infinite number of
and
ways.
if you actually do it and you try to catch it, and I know that there are people out there who just kind of like copy and paste it, and authors have already been caught because in their book they didn't even bother to edit the damn thing, and I forgot who, and not that I would name them
There's
on
been
here,
a few. There's actually been
but
a few.
where it says ChatGPT said
Yeah. Okay.
right there on their ebook, and it was like, okay, well,
Yeah.
that happened, and they didn't even bother to edit out.
So you're not
Ew,
even editing. That's
I
what I'm
no
saying.
longer
It's
want to read this
slippery
because
slope.
this person didn't write it.
See, I'm really like because it's a slippery slope, and my thing is like we get better. It's kind of like okay, I used to hey when I was in high school, like I was a major athlete. Like I played basketball. I was varsity all 4 years. Like, but if you throw me on a basketball court now and you try to make me play full court, I'm
You're
like
out of practice.
like running full speed a couple of times, full court. I'm like dead. Once I stop doing it, I fall out of shape. And I think it's the same thing with your mind, with your brain. Like once you get to those act two hurdles, like
Writing is a muscle.
act two is hard, problem solving
Yes,
is hard. It's a muscle to solve
it's a
problems.
muscle. And now what I'm seeing is people saying like, "Oh, I don't need to study. a plot structure.
It's a slippery slope for authors because once you start, like, I feel like once you start outsourcing your problem solving, you're not having that experience of like the discomfort and the growth that comes from like writing a book is not supposed to be.
And it's a crutch.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really hard. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be really hard because you get what you pay for. Like if you're paying for blood, sweat, and tears, you're going to come out of the other side of that book as like a better author. Now you're going to come out of the other side of that book not really that much better than you walked into it.
Nothing. Yeah.
Okay, so now you might have 15, 20 published books at some point, and you might have the skill of a 2-book author. You know what I mean? Somebody who's published 2 books because you've been outsourcing when you get to that point you want to give up, then you let something else do the work for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll never be an expert in your field.
Yeah. Yeah. You're going to be reliant. And I think that's where and I get it. And I faced the temptation, that's where I'm like, there was a really good talk by Lee Bardot about the discomfort. It was a TED talk. Thank you. Welcome to my TED talk. The discomfort that we have to experience in the middle of our project. And obviously, author of Sarah.
You posted it last night, right? And I watched it and then I posted it on my LinkedIn.
Yeah, but wasn't it a great talk about that? Like, if we understand and if we anticipate that level of discomfort is coming, we're going to have to wrestle with some of our personal demons. We're going to want to give up. And there is so much growth that happens outside of just the finished product. Like when Sanderson says journey before destination, like that is true.
Yeah. There's no way to reach your destination without a journey.
And to try to go through this like synthetic wormhole to just get to the end so that this finished product, like you're just not becoming better. And like your self-esteem is not growing. And I know, and listen, there could be people that are going to really disagree with this. Authors that are like, no, it's just brainstorming. It's the same as with another person. Like, fine. But I know when me and you brainstorm, you know what I mean? Like, there is no part of you that is like thinking that I know more than you do as far as your world and your story. You know what I mean? But for some reason, like, it's almost got like ChatGPT. It's a super intelligence. So of course it's a super intelligence better than me.
It's good at holding so much memory at a given time. But even if you were to throw, and I've tried this, okay, just for the sake of experimentation, if you were to throw the guidelines of any world building, of your world building, okay, it still forgets later on. And you'll catch yourself saying, this doesn't make any sense because of this. And then it will respond saying, you're right, you caught me. Let's do it again. Yeah. And it will still keep glitching. So at a certain point, you need to be the human behind your creation and just do it because you're going to be wasting more time as well.
Yeah, like I will use it to like compare my blood work. Like, you know what I mean? So I'll be like, oh, here's the blood work I took in 2023. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like this machine can like know what all these little acronyms mean, like, all these little things on my blood work, and they'll know like, hey, I'm trying to check like inflammation, whatever. I'm like a little bit of a health nut, in that stuff. And I'll compare the blood work and it will like, it'll like, oh, it'll just forget. And I'll take a quick look at what it said. And I'm like, hey, you're, Fred, you're hallucinating again. You know what I mean? This is completely wrong. Oh, you got me. And then it'll go and make the same mistake,
Right. Well, I was trying to make it easier for me to organize my tax information for my accountant. And, people are saying, oh, well, accounting is no longer going to be a job anymore because AI can just do it. And here's the thing. It got the math wrong. I only use it for the organization so that I can easily give it to my tax lady. But I would never depend on it to do my own taxes because guess what? if something happens and the IRS
The stakes are
requests an
higher with your taxes.
audit,
Yeah.
what? Oh, my AI made a mistake.
That's where like it's almost like the worship of this is like this super intelligence that's so much smarter. And like, and I get it. There's probably, I'm sure the government is using a way smarter AI than is on the app on our phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
did you
think it's a
see
super
the police that arrested the wrong person because they were using AI face detector and they got the wrong person?
yeah, I mean, that's scary. That's some scary stuff because this is all very fallible technology.
Things that we're mentioning are things that we should be trying to outsource for AI to use because it makes things easier so that we have time for other things.
Yeah, it does the heavy lifting.
It does the heavy lifting, but what are the other things that we should be doing then? Creativity is one of those things that we should be doing. So if we are just kind of stopping our brains and no longer using cognitive functions because our AI is doing it, then this is an example that I gave on my website and on my LinkedIn post, was Edgar Allan Poe. We don't read The Raven or The Telltale Heart or, Annabelle Lee, which is one of my favorites, because the words sound good together and they rhyme. What do we love about these stories?
We love them because they're great stories.
Well, they're great stories, but why are they great stories?
Because of the author, because of the
Because of
talent and the voice of the
because
author.
because of the voice of Edgar Allan Poe and who he was and the madness of Poe. We've all heard of that phrase, the madness of Poe. Do we
Mhm.
give a shit about the madness of AI? No.
Right. And it's the
We
human
don't.
behind the art that makes
That makes it so powerful, that makes the story matter to us. And there's a term, matter, that AI likes to fucking overuse because it matters.
because
And
it
it's driving
matters.
me nuts. So anything that we fucking say now,
Yeah.
excuse my language on YouTube, anything that we say or do, now it's like, oh, they got that from AI. There's another way that it's hurting us as a society. Now everybody has to watch what they say and write because we will be accused of copying
That's the
AI
next crazy
when
part.
AI is copying us.
Yeah. I have seen like, oh my gosh, so many authors are now, people are going into their reviews and
Yeah.
all of a sudden, and this is like the other side of the extreme coin, where it's like, okay, a good amount of authors are not down with this. Like they're not into it. Like the people that were writing books before, they're not really getting so on board with this. Um, and they're going into people's reviews and like they're seeing an M dash or they're seeing like something that's does not, maybe an overused phrase like, oh, they furrowed their brow and they're like, oh, this is AI. And it's
Oh
like
my God. And it's ridiculous.
happening to artists too.
Yeah, and it's
The
ridiculous
hand
because
isn't perfect. It must be AI. It's like, no, the hands are hard to draw. Come
hands are
on.
hard to draw. Hands are
Yeah.
really hard to draw. I cannot draw a hand if my life depended
Well,
on it.
now, you have like these witch hunters
I
out there
would.
that are, like
Yeah.
reading books or looking at artwork, and now they're like accusing everyone of AI. And it's like, well, that's not the way, that's not the right way either.
I really hate that. And it's really not. It's a witch hunt. And here's the thing. I was one of those authors who overused M dashes in my writing. Guess
What?
what? Years before AI because it's fucking new.
Yeah.
And my editors would be like, "Okay, too many M dashes. Tone it down." So but the point is, we use M dashes. We've always used M dashes. And just because AI is overusing M dashes does not mean that if a writer uses an M dash, they've taken it from AI. And I, for one, am not going to stop using M dashes
I mean, you got to think like, where did it learn to use the M dashes? It's training.
from us.
Yeah, exactly. It's training on real books by real people. So that's where it learns.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
overused phrases does not mean AI. It just means that the author is using a phrase that is overused. Like I just saw.
And they might be using it on purpose because it goes together with a trope.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean AI. It doesn't, and it's hard. And I get it that it's getting harder to disseminate what is human and what isn't human. And and I get it because there are people that don't want to consume AI work, like, listen, I don't want to hear like I don't know why the song Landslide is popping in my head by Stevie, like Stevie Nicks singing Landslide. Like, I don't want to hear an AI voice. I don't want you to like sample a little snippet of her and then like sing that to me in AI.
Yeah,
Like,
that's messed up.
there's
Yeah.
something, or just any song that's beautiful, that's got soul, to
Yeah.
just like to think that you can synthesize that and it's going to be the same is something's like, I don't know what it is. I can't put it into words, but something is so wrong there. And it's like, and then you look at it reminds me of like the people that are like dating their AI and marrying.
Especially, oh, that's so weird.
It's like
But especially if that artist did not give consent to use their voice.
that, but even as a listener, doesn't that creep you out at all? Like if you're listening and you're feeling a song and then it's not a human singing it, like okay, it's not an instrument, but it's like a human voice, but it's fully synthetic. Like there's no experience behind that word. Like when Stevie Nicks is singing that song, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you
Yeah,
hear
she
the,
carries the emotion.
yeah, like she lived it. What is it like? That's like getting advice from a 14-year-old. Like
Mhm.
you can give me all the advice you want. Maybe you read it somewhere, but you never lived it. Like, what do I care about what you have to say? So how am I gonna, as a human, fully formed human being, listen to something or read something that
Mhm.
was just formed by something that's
That's a
not
good example. That's a good example of something, like a life experience sold by a child, and it's like, why are we listening to you? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, I don't want to, I want to relate. See, like what you were saying about Poe before, it's like because we relate to the artist behind it, and it makes us not feel so alone in this world.
That's right. Yeah.
And
And once we what
and
if we read
synthesize
something,
that. That's
if
human.
if we read something and we later find out that it was completely generated by AI, I feel cheated. Second of all, um it it was written by a machine and it had no emotion. It had no real experience.
Yeah. It's
And
not,
and
it's not real. No
one
experience.
thing one the only thing I can think of as an example here is the mythologies and the parables that we live by day to day,
Yeah.
right? Parables in the Bible, stories of the Havamal in Norwegian folklore, of Odin, Greek mythology. All of these things came from people, and when people wrote it, they are writing based on their experiences. And today we can think back, if we're interested in the mythology and we read them, we can use them as examples of how to live our lives. And
Be-
that is why this is why story is so important.
That's why story is so important. Like you can't fake that.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
I
You know,
remember growing up,
and-
like, somebody was a poser. It's like, oh, like you don't want to hang around that person because they're a
right,
poser. They don't
yeah.
want
And
something.
now we're depending on the biggest poser of all. It's hilarious.
Poser of all, like you don't even like, why are you talking about that band? I like this band because they strike a chord with me. I
Yeah,
don't feel so alone in this world. I relate to the artist. I am like, I feel like somebody put a little dot and said, you are here on the map. You know what I mean? And I can identify with someone now. Like talk about it. Then when somebody, wears the t-shirt and they don't know one single song by the band, but they're just wearing it because they
mhm,
think it'll make them look better.
right.
This is the mindset of like when you have an AI generate a book for you so that you could take my money. Like,
Yeah, and then and not to bring up a specific person or commenter from LinkedIn, but I'm just gonna say this person on LinkedIn. When I posted that example of Edgar Allan Poe, um, this one commenter said, and very condescendingly too, used my name. He said, "Here's another take,"
they don't want to
uh,
catch.
something like that. Yeah, he was like, how did he word it? He was like, maybe readers are more interested in transparency, Killian. And okay, well, let's tear that apart a little bit.
Like, is he arguing against himself?
Well, he's arguing, saying that as long as an author tells you that they used AI, then it would be okay.
I mean, I'm not adverse to that. Like, if you want to go and
You want to be transparent, sure, but and what I responded to him was, first off, a lot of people are not being transparent.
they're not.
They're not. And
I wish
Amazon
they would make everybody
box,
label AI that you were.
it has a little box to click saying, did you use AI? And
They don't tell the consumer that.
how many people, they don't tell the consumer that, and how many people are actually clicking that box anyways. But no, they don't tell the consumer that anyways.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two, I do not want to read an entire book generated by AI. And I know for a fact that none of my readers want to read a book generated by AI.
Yeah. I think a lot of people that are into reading, they don't want to consume that. I mean, unless they're really like, I don't know. I don't know if like the whales, the people that really read a lot, if they don't mind. Like, but
Yeah.
nobody that I know wants to read AI books.
No.
You know,
No.
you first of all,
No matter how much it mimics a good voice, and no matter how much it can tell a good story,
yeah.
if you know it came from AI, we lose interest.
I mean, what then why even bother buying the book? Why should they pay you to generate a book when they could just open their ChatGPT and say,
And
"Hey,
generate a story.
write me a story, write me a book." You know what I mean? Send me a chapter a day. Send me this next chapter. You know what I mean? Like, why do they even need the middleman of paying you for what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're just trying to hustle them out of money, and you're not. You don't want to do work. You know what I mean? You want to become an author. Like, it's an insult to the craft, in my opinion.
Yeah. 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 So I mean, I personally agree with using AI for helping your business and productivity, CRM, those kind of things. But when it comes to what we deem as creative,
Yeah.
um, I stray away from using it as generative.
Like, and you can, it can be helpful, like autocrit, you know what I mean? Autocrit will tell you if like, oh, you're overusing, it'll highlight all the words you're overusing from when you're doing your line editing. Like, you might want I just learned about reverse outlining. Like reverse outlining, like, oh, that's what I've been doing is reverse outlining, which is basically like, I always describe it that, I
Yeah.
kind of I pants and then I outline the next, little bit and it's actually reverse outlining because what I'm doing is I'm pantsing and I'm pulling out what's good and I'm reverse outlining the book. I don't care if you want to use it to like just get your reverse outline, like, okay, let me get my synopses done. And like, not that I care what
That's a good way to use it for,
that's a good
because
organizational.
that's organizational, and it's doing that kind of legwork for you. So something that would have taken you a day, it does it very quickly, and
Yeah,
it's not
having to read the whole
generating.
thing, re-synopsize it. So when I'm going into my draft too, like this is a way to
Right.
streamline the process. But
Yeah.
it's not like it's taking away the grunt work that
Yeah.
takes
And
time.
there are certain writing that I am actually okay with it doing. For instance, posts, title, because because it's a whole different system. You're using it to do SEO, search
Right.
engine optimization. So these kind of posts, they don't sound creative, they don't sound great anyways. It's really just getting whatever you're trying to say across, and you give what you want to say to the AI, and you say, optimize this for SEO, for Wix, for LinkedIn,
Yeah.
for Google search, whatever, and then it'll generate it just for that. Honestly, I don't give a shit.
Especially that we're all fighting the algorithm. We're
Yeah,
fighting algorithms all the
yeah,
time just to try to get the stuff out there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So like
Right, right. So that's helping you. Like my LinkedIn.
nobody's reading advertisements
Yeah,
like
no, I don't have time. I am working on my books. I'm working on my books, and I do not believe, I don't believe in being an absolutist, right? Only Sith Lords deal in absolutes, is what I say, right? Or, quote from. Um, so I just because I use that for making a post does not mean I'm using it as generative AI for my work.
Yeah.
Absolutely not, because my craft is my soul. That's my work. But for posting, I'm trying to get the algorithm to see my post. So to me, that is a whole different thing.
Yeah, and it's easy to drown, and they're always changing those algorithms on us. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
tool.
Pinterest descriptions. I
Yeah.
give that shit to my AI. I don't, that can literally take you a day.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it's clear where we kind of stand on this topic here. Maybe you disagree with us, and maybe you agree with us. I don't know. Maybe you'll sway us. Maybe you'll change our minds. Drop a like and leave a link down in the comments and let us know what you think about generative AI writing fiction.
Yeah. And circling back to the actual craft of writing, if you are a brand new author and you are looking for beta readers and you don't know what to ask them, there is a link right down below in the description that will give you a list of beta reader questions for joining our mailing list.
That's right. Make sure you join us next time. Catch you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you want to check out some fantasy novels written by the Critique Partners, check out our author links below. If you're interested in developmental editing or other author services like book trailers, check out the Grimhouse Pub link. And if you'd rather just hire a ghostwriter and outsource it all, then check out Legacy Publishing. Link in the description. See you next time.